Everybody please rise for the pledge salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, any changes or additions to the agenda? Okay, none of those, so I would accept the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Moved and seconded, any discussion? All right, all in favor of passing the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying no. Okay, consent agenda is passed. We will move down to presentations and reports.
We have our
Enrollment report, go ahead, Krista.
we have our enrollment report to finish out the year. June was a little bit less than May, but we leveled out and ended about expected where we were expected to be. As far as the financials go, we're pretty much on track with previous years. I am expecting some expenses over the summer, just maintenance things that we don't normally do while kids are in the building, just in general maintenance to the buildings and exteriors and those sorts of things. But other than that, it's just everything as usual.
Very good. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Krista. We'll move on to the 2022 non-graduating student report. Is that going to be or?
No. So I gave you guys a little report. There's just really the two students that started here as freshmen that are not going to graduate. And a little bit of information in there about kind of the specifics, obviously pretty really unique situations. So if you have any questions, let me know. Obviously, we're not going to talk about that here, but yeah, that's it.
Okay, understand.
May I ask a question? Yes. So if these students come in and into our district at any time, we're accountable for their graduation, not just those who start as freshmen.
Once they enroll here.
Right, regardless. And if they leave and we never see them again, we're still responsible.
Yeah, so basically they stick with us further unless another school requests to transfer their transcripts. Yeah. If they don't do that, then we're stuck
And
with
you'll
them.
see some real interesting things along those lines in that with the type of student.
All right, thank you, Amy.
Two students. I mean,
Yeah, two.
we appreciate that we know their story. And we
Yeah.
appreciate the hard work we did for 104 graduates. Yep.
Okay, ALE report. We're going to hear about that. Or is there just the materials presented? Yeah. Okay. Guys have any questions or comments about the materials? Okay. So let's move on to the secondary math curriculum for adoption.
So I would like to speak to that. Gary asked me to come to the meeting this evening to explain the process and recommend or put forth to you the recommendation from the Instructional Materials Committee that met in June. They put forth a recommendation that the math teachers recommended. We started the book study and the learning process for the math pilot in the 1920 school year, and then did the actual piloting of materials, two different sets of materials, Carnegie Learning and Open Up Resources in grades 6 through Algebra 2 this winter, and met with staff, the math staff, and kind of compared the programs against the best practice work that we had done with Diane in 1920, and they chose the Open Up Resources materials, which are pretty comprehensive. They're used in many, many school districts across the United States and many school districts within Washington State. The materials are accessible online for free. So our the cost of the district is just the teachers' materials. And then any printing if students or teachers needed items printed, and then the professional development to support the implementation of materials. So that is the recommendation of the instructional materials.
So are we in a place then we're ready to adopt, or do we want to?
We did post it for 2 weeks, so we, followed the guidelines for that, so we could.
Anybody have any concerns, questions, or?
I think the committee did a very thorough job, and they vetted it out, and they tested it and kicked the tires and a lot of things. And I think, yeah, his presentation is pretty accurate.
I guess my one question is, what's, other than, just different materials, is there a big change as to what we're thinking? Is there any kind of a large shift in process or?
No, once the Common Core was adopted by the state, we had adopted brand new materials when the Common Core was adopted, and found out that those materials really did not support best practice related to the Common Core and did not really align with the standards. And so teachers were having to supplement to make sure that students were meeting the standards. And then the district participated in the teachers development group, professional development with math, and really realized that those materials were not sufficient. And so once our contract with Big Ideas, which was our publisher previous, once that expired, it was time to look for something. So it's not a shift in instructional practice, it's just materials that align with where we need them to align.
This is more all encompassing the needs of our students.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I had the opportunity to sit on the community committee, the ad hoc committee, and there were community members, teachers, variety of individuals who had the opportunity to really be reflective and look at we have here, like the questionnaires that came back from the math teachers and their interactions. And I think the process is really important, that is a very open and public, and that we've advertised and the community has the opportunity. But I think what's really important about what you're saying is that we really need a curriculum that teachers aren't having to go out and look for supplements, because then we know that we've looked at this curriculum with integrity. We know what our teachers are teaching, and they're not relying on, supplemental resources that have not necessarily been. So
Correct.
I appreciate that about the company.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Okay.
I was just gonna say that some of us did try to get on the committee, and they closed the committee and wouldn't let everybody on the committee. So I'm not sure what the reasoning was behind it, or if it's too late, but that was a little bit of a convention part that did want to be on the committee, especially as a past math teacher.
Did you take the opportunity during the last two, the public?
I had emailed probably, I don't know, maybe a month ago, just to see where it was at, and I was like, that was the first I heard that he happened.
So I think this is something we can learn, is that especially if we have people who are interested, making sure if the committee has been finalized, that they have the opportunity to come into the public viewing and make sure that their comments are reviewed as well. So thank you for bringing that.
Anything else? Okay, well, in the absence of any concerns from the board, I would accept the motion to adopt the open up math curriculum as proposed by the instructional committee.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying no. Okay. Curriculum adopted. We're at hearing of individuals and groups. A list here. Rick, are you ready to talk?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, first of all, thank you everybody for being here. This is awesome turnout. Makes me very happy to see the community here. And then don't start my time yet. Let's a round of applause for the board. I mean, these guys are doing this. They are volunteers. So you guys, this is not a paid position. That's pretty cool. So that's a big deal. Happy Father's Day. Belated to all the dads. I know I had a very happy Father's Day. It was great. So because of the communication issues, like you see where she didn't hear about the deal with the math curriculum, I'm going to keep doing my survey thing and trying to do whatever I can to work on communication between, the public and the board and the district and everything. I don't know what else to do. I want to help. I really do. So I reach out to as many people as I can with text, emails, everything I could do. It's a pretty good sized group. By far, the number one thing on everybody's mind is making sure that the crazy sexual obsessed teachings and the equity teachings and all this stuff doesn't make its way into Eatonville's curriculums. Hopefully that was looked at with that math curriculum. I have no idea, but I didn't look at it. I should have. We all need to be better at paying attention to what they're putting in these curriculums. Sammy Joe, she's not here tonight, but she is really good at explaining how to go about learning to look at those curriculums. I got to hurry. Are we get 2 minutes?
You're good.
Okay, that's better. All right. So the number two thing is really next year. People want to see the school year go back to just normal, no COVID restrictions. They just want life to be good, Eatonville to be good, things to be just good again. People were really starting to message about that a lot. And then obviously security with all the stuff going on in Uvalde and around the country right now. People are really worried about why don't we have police presence in the schools like we used to. I remember there was always a really fun officer or something that would be in the high school when I went to high school, and people liked them. And it was fun, and it was good to have them there. I think we need that here. I hope we're working on that. Especially people were really mentioning, like with Columbia Crest being all the way out there, the police response time has got to be horrific, like terrible. Even Weyerhaeuser is a little bit like, what do they be? Like probably be 2 hours to get to there. How things are now, it's terrible. You guys. So those are the main three things. I talked to a lot of men this past month, dads and stuff. It's Father's Day, right? That wasn't why. I just wanted to see more men involved in the community. And so I was, at the lumber yard, parts store, wherever. I've just been cornering people and talking to them, asking what their concerns are. And men specifically, that was the number one thing. They are talking about security. Like, what do we do if this happens? Are we prepared? And maybe we can get the Eatonville police to come and speak to that. Maybe one of these times. We need better planning, and the community needs to know what that plan is, because everybody's worried and wondering right now. Yeah, and then I just got a couple of quick bones to pick. I wasn't here last month. Sounds like I missed quite the meeting. There was a lot of labeling and name calling going on. Sounded like it was aimed at me a little bit. That's ridiculous, because it sounds like the main reason we get these activists about the LGBTQ thing in here is because they want to come in here and say their kids are being bullied, name calling, this and that. They turn around and first thing I hear about, oh, did you hear about this shit? I'm like, I don't even listen, but it's just stupid that's the first thing that they resort to is name calling and labeling. It's ridiculous. So that's got to stop, But nobody's done it to my face, but behind my back, bad. What's it?
You have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. And then the other bone I have to pick is it's kind of with the board, and it's with our superintendent. The superintendent, in my eyes, is supposed to be the leader, for the school and the community and everything, and I'm trying to explain this. If you look at families that aren't divided right now with politics, the reason they're not divided is because they got the old lady, the grandma in there yelling at them. You guys leave that up, don't bring that to the dinner table. Just get along here. We need that place to be where it's common ground, where we can come in and we're just here for school, or we're just there for soccer. I saw that with the soccer. It was fun. It wasn't, little political discussions and divided people with, different things. Everybody was mixing and nobody was talking about it. It was great. We need that here at the school. And the only way we're going to get that is if the leaders find a way to interact with the community to say, look, keep that out of here. I'm not coming in here and, trying to push my beliefs on everybody. I would love to see everybody think the same way I do. That ain't gonna happen. But, you know, in this setting, people need to be able to come here and they need to be able to bring their kids here and know that, you know, everyone's just gonna get along and those things aren't gonna come up. You know, the LGBTQ thing is a political topic. It needs to be left out of schools. It's not, it's too controversial. It's just not something, especially in my going around the community, it's not what Eatonville wants. So I don't see why we have it. But so I hope the board, you guys are working to talk to Gary and figure out if he can handle that somehow. Gary, I don't know if you have ideas or if you could step up and figure out how to do that. But I think you're in a leadership position that needs to make that happen. So anyway, happy 4th to everybody. And thank you.
Who's up next? Tim?
I'm pretty much want to talk about the same vein, the diversity, equity, inclusion. It's completely racist. Anybody that actually wants to look at it, the idea that you're going to tell a kid that he's less than or she's less than because she's a minority or this or that. I mean, there's people that consider themselves intellectuals that want to say that it's inclusive, and its name it's an oxymoron. It's not even, it's absolute silliness. And we cannot have it invade this school district. My kids thankfully made it through the gauntlet of public schools. The last one just made it through before all this silliness happened. But my grandson, we pulled him out of Puyallup School District. Puyallup School District is insane. 3rd grade. Do you feel like a boy? Do you feel like a girl? They're asking my flipping grandson in 3rd grade whether he feels like a boy or girl. It's insane. They're pedophiles. They're straight. If you're going to participate in that, you're a pedophile. Period. These kids are kids. They haven't even reached puberty. Sex is not a thing for them yet. They're not going to be astronauts. They're not going to be professional football players. They're not going to be firefighters. They're not, whatever it is they're doing at the moment. Teachers have zero business trying to turn a kid into a sexual thing. If a teacher does that, they're a pedophile. If a school district superintendent pushes it, he's a pedophile. Puyallup School District is completely pushing it. It is nuts. It has no place in the school district whatsoever. So, my opinion. I don't think it's even controversial. And to speak to the politics, we keep religion out of school. We have to keep these politics out of school. It's not the school's place. My politics.
Okay, we're gonna move on to new business. Consider approval of the capital outlay project for the pool emergency repair.
John is not here, but I've got documents for you with a brief description of what he provided along with the quote information.
So I sent something out a couple of weeks ago to everybody, kind of that coil that needs to be replaced and building up humidity behind that happening there, and that doesn't work out real well having a pool. So that's kind of where we're at. We'd like to get going on that as soon as we could. We tried to get 3 quotes. We ended up getting one person got back to us, one group.
It's not uncommon with pool problems.
Yep.
Just to clarify, we put out 3 requests.
Oh,
2 or more.
well, we put out for as many as we can get. Okay. Yeah, we hope for 3.
We got one, so then we kind of solicited to see if some other folks that do that kind of stuff. And one said, yeah, we're not in that business.
The pool's always the bugger.
However, I do want to speak to the importance, I believe, of the pool in our community and the fact that our kids in the past pre-COVID, every student had the opportunity to learn how to swim. So that because of the variety of lakes and water in our area, that I think we are very, very blessed to have a community that supports that pool. And I think it's really important to take good care of it and continue to provide the opportunity for our kids to learn how to swim. It's a matter of safety for them.
It looks
I
like when-
can't hear. I'm sorry. Can you please speak up? There's a lot of us back here. I know you can't see us. But the seating's not really accommodating with you. I can't hear. Can you speak
Well,
up?
we've got chairs up here too.
Okay, well,
but-
those 5 chairs aren't gonna help you.
I just said I'm grateful for the community that supports the pool, and it's important that we maintain it in a way that provides an opportunity for our students to continue to have some.
Thank you.
So first, I'm not opposed to this. I want to make sure we did our due diligence with the contract, especially with a large purchase like this. So to clarify, how many people do we reach out to? How long was it posted? Where was it posted? Just want to make sure that we had an opportunity for anybody wanting to bid this job, that they have the opportunity.
Yeah, I can't speak specifically how long it was out there for bid, because I don't know if you remember.
So there's state and federal purchasing guidelines that we usually go stricter than what we're required to. So I was told that we reached out to 3 people. One of them said, I'll get back to you, and never did. The other one said, we don't do it, or we can't do it. And this third one said, we can do it. So that's what we ended up with.
Any other questions? Okay, I would consider a motion to approve the capital outlay project for emergency repair of the pool as presented.
Second.
Right, moving second. Any further discussion?
Yes. Just keep asking questions. I really do the first second and say yes. Yeah, I need to write these things down so I can hear. So what exactly is this unit doing
For the pool?
for the pool? Is this just the HVAC system for the actual heating and cooling in the building, or is it for the water itself, or?
My understanding is it pulls the humidity out of the air, and without it, it will corrode the other surrounding equipment and cause damage to the entire system.
And
The building
the
itself.
metal gables, have you been in?
Yeah, I was there just.
Yeah, and it starts to corrode that building, and that was built in 1940. And so,
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, please signify by saying no. Okay, consider approval to purchase ovens for the CTE Culinary Arts Program.
We have time here to discuss that, please.
Yeah, do you want me to come up here or?
Right
Okay,
here would be fine, or
Okay.
the speakers, that's right there.
right there.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So you should have all received paperwork from me about purchasing 7 new ovens for the Culinary Arts program. Currently, the ovens that we have are original to the remodel from 2009. So they're pretty old. One has to be replaced for sure because we had an accidental fire in June. And they're just not getting up to temperature. They're not holding temperature. Things are not cooking in our 55-minute, 50-minute classes. And so that's really a struggle for students. Like we would cut up small potatoes and they wouldn't cook in that amount of time. So we're looking to update those. So I have 6 kitchens and then 1 demo station, so 7 total. I currently have 3 culinary arts program or classes each semester with 25 plus students. It's about 75 students, daily in there, and so they just need to be replaced. So we did the due diligence and found like 3 different quotes. You should be able to see that one that we're kind of shooting towards. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have or.
Anybody got questions?
This might be not for you, but what pool of money is this coming from?
CTE, so we have some funds, a little bit left that we can use as long as we get them in before the end of the.
So this is like
End of August.
use or lose money essentially?
Yeah.
it's also specifically designated from the state for these programs. We can't spend it on any.
Okay, that's my big question right there.
Anything else? Okay, then I'm consider a motion to approve purchase of the ovens as presented for the Culinary Arts Program. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying no. Okay, motion passed. We'll move on to consider approval to raise the de minimis limit amount for student incentives to $40. And what's the limit now, Amy?
25.
$25, yeah, so this is just to buy awards and certificates, things like that for students, and you just can't buy that stuff for $25 anymore. Yeah. And I don't think that's gone up in my 10 years on the board. So that's probably, we haven't paid, so. Any questions or comments? Okay, then I would consider an approval to raise the de minimis limit amount for student incentives to $40 as presented. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying no. Okay, motion passes. We consider approval of the junior wrestling donation. All right, so this is a donation of $3,763.95 to purchase items as determined by the wrestling team and approved by the ASB process. So, any other questions or comments? Yes, and I would consider a motion to approve the junior wrestling donation as presented. All right, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying no. All right, motion carries, and thank you to the Eatonville Junior Wrestling Program. It's an awesome donation. And then I would move on to consider approval of the Eatonville High School cheer donation, and this I haven't read yet. What was?
The information says acknowledges and thanks Strain Pro Incorporated Washington for the donation of cheerleading mats with a monetary value of $5,853.41 to the district. This donation is the sole and express purpose of safety equipment for the Eatonville High School cheer team.
Awesome. Okay, I would consider a motion to approve the donation from Drain Pro to the Eatonville High School cheer team. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, other than how grateful we are to community members to look after the safety of our students. That's a very, very generous.
Concur. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying no. Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. Drain Pro Inc. Okay, move on to superintendent comments.
Thank you. So I'd like to report out the closing of the report for our schools for the 21-22 school year. I'll start off with Eatonville High School. Senior awards night was on June 7th. We had 34 students applied for scholarships through Eatonville Dollars for Scholars. And a very big thank you to all the people that helped donate $133,000 to scholarships. We have 32 students registered to participate in the summer programs at Pierce County Skills Center beginning Monday. So students got a week off and then they're going to get back at it. We will run a bus for them so that they can get out there and back each day for those that are needing transportation. So that's a big one. Credit retrieval is continuing happening this week. Principal Sturdivant kind of went over some of the information with me and some of the things that they're doing and how we're continuing to work with students to get them up to the status that they need to be. And, you know, that's something I just want to share out is that even though the school year is 180 days long, it's continuing throughout the summer. We have educators and folks that are continually working with students, trying to get them up to speed, whether it's they're trying to get up to the reading score level or it's their math, whatever it might happen to be. So we know it's important because we know that education just doesn't happen during 180 days. We're trying to do as many things possible so that we can let kids have opportunities to get caught up in, and more importantly, maybe not to slide because they're taking time off. So we want to keep them as sharp as possible. And all the principals at all of our buildings do a wonderful job, exemplary job with that. And so a huge thank you for all of them. So on to that credit retrieval, we have 38 students that are continually working to make up failed classes and get back on time to graduate. So thanks for everybody that's contributing to that. Our summer athletic programs are up and running with record number of participation. And that's, everything we're trying to do is much co-curricular and extracurricular activities. We don't want students just showing up during the day. When the bell rings, they go home. We want to try to keep them involved with as many things as possible. So that's an example of what we've got going. Eatonville Middle School, last week was filled with many activities, and they listed a couple things here that they were doing. The award ceremonies, the 6th and 7th grade field day, 8th grade field trip, 8th grade celebration, which was attended by many. I got a chance to be there. I know a couple of you were there as well, and it was well attended. The gym was packed, and it was fun. It was a great pace, and the kids were having a good time. And so congratulations, Principal Rush, for putting that on. The infamous 8th grade versus staff volleyball game. No one got injured, so that's a good thing for me. And then yearbook signing as well. Columbia Crest Academy, Carl Heeman submitted a grant to secure overnight camp funding for the 22-23 year. On Friday, June 17th, our district received notification and confirmation that Carl's group has been awarded $15,000 to take our 5th and 6th graders to the overnight camp. So that really adds up. Buses and lodging and food and all those sorts of things. So another example of one of our employees going beyond Call of Duty to try to find other things for kids to do besides just sit in the classroom. Throughout the school year at the middle school, there were 800 prizes awarded for the reading program. This month, we recognized close to 30 students who made it to the 100-point club for reading comprehensive points. Curtis Wright earned 877 points this school year. Good job, Curtis. The school garden is thriving. Please drop by anything you would like to, please drop by and harvest any crops or volunteer to assist with some of the garden work anytime you want. Warehouser Elementary, the middle school staff visited Warehouser's 5th graders, and then the 5th graders visited Eatonville Middle School for the transition period, getting those students ready to come into 6th grade. And that's a big thing too, getting them into the building so they have a chance to kind of orient what's going on and seeing some of the basics of people that they're going to see. So that went really smooth, and all of our buildings do a wonderful job with that. Field day for Warehouser took place on June 15th, and over 50 parent volunteers and the Pierce County Sheriff Department participated by checking the speeds of student runners with their radar equipment. This activity was a huge hit, so thank you, Pierce County Sheriff Department, for coming out there. The graduating seniors participated in the grad walking. For those of you that aren't familiar with that, what happens is our seniors that are graduating with the news will go back to the middle school or the elementary school that they attended. They go through the hallways, and it's kind of a fun way for them to connect with some of their teachers that they haven't seen for a long time. And they were this tall when they were there, and now they're this tall. So it's a huge change watching people become the young adults that they are. So that's always a fun one as well. Students cheer them on as they're going through there. They celebrated the last 26 days of school with an ABC countdown ending with Z Day and zooming into summer. And last but not least was Eatonville Elementary. They concluded the academic school year with an all-school field day, as well as many grade level celebrations. 4th and 5th grade students walked to the Roxy Movie Theater and enjoyed a field day movie event. Kinder classes observed yearly moving up ceremonies with a donuts and diploma celebration in the cafeteria. And lastly, one particular noteworthy event, 2nd grade students soaked their teachers and principals with water balloons to celebrate the conclusion of the 21-22 school year. Thank you to everybody that participated in that. And that concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you, Gary. All right, board comments. Do I have any board comments tonight that I'd like to make?
I have just a couple of things. One, so grateful that 38 of our students had the opportunity to continue to work towards that goal of graduation through the credit retrieval program. So I'm grateful to all of the teachers and administrators who are helping facilitate that. I did want to mention, Mr. Kratzer, you mentioned something about safety and security and pre-COVID, and I know that seems like a world ago. and it's a great reminder. We had a community forum. I felt like it was very successful. I hope some of you were at that forum, where you had Pierce County Sheriff's Department, Eatonville PD, and Mr. Joel Turner, who is a community member and also a SWAT team member in Thurston County. And we went over all of our district protocols, emergency plans, answered questions. It was really, I felt like it was a very successful and well-received forum. And I would like to have that again in the fall as we enter into the new year. And perhaps we could reach out to Mr. Turner and see if he'd be willing to help us facilitate that one more time. I think that would be a great way to bring students and parents, comfort as we realign in the fall. And then if you had an opportunity to look at our agenda, the consent agenda is just filled with phenomenal teachers and administrators and staff who have served in the last couple of months who've served our school so well in our district. I'm so grateful, and I just want to express my gratitude to those who have served, employees that have been here for many, many years, and welcome so many of the new people who are coming into our district. I'm grateful.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Anybody else?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was a little late, so you guys might have already addressed this, but I know that the last meeting you guys had mentioned something about opening up to 2 meetings a month. When can we foresee that happening? Is that gonna happen from the next, like, right before that, like in September, or?
Next month, we'll have our board retreat where we will schedule out all next year. There's one meeting in July,
Okay.
and that I can't remember what date that is.
I think we have 7 boards.
27? Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then, yeah, at that retreat, we'll schedule out board meetings, reports.
And so we should foresee it on the website. You go to the website, after you guys do the meeting, we should be able to tell when the 2 meetings will be.
It should be, yeah.
Yes, I will be updating the district calendar once those 2 meetings are decided and the board calendar is approved.
Okay. thank you.
Absolutely. Mhm.
The plan is the calendar the whole year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's the board calendar. I don't know why. The board calendar right now is separate. I mean, you go to the website, you need to go to, there's a school board header, and then the board calendar is under that.
Yeah,
Yeah, if there's another calendar that just has like school events and athletics and things like that.
right.
And I'm not sure why it was set up like that. I always thought it'd be kind of nice to just integrate everything
Right, yeah.
into one calendar. Because even it took me a long time to figure out how to get to my own board calendar.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would address security concerns real quick, briefly. That is a very real thing that we're all thinking about and making plans for. The big problem is there's not enough sheriff's deputies and police officers, and there's no more funding for it. So Gary's been trying to cobble together funding to pay for some kind of in-house security presence. We're not sure what that's going to be. The state used to pay a little bit of money towards like school resource officers and all that, and that's just not there anymore. So it's, they used to pay for emergency planning, map out the schools and create evacuation plans and all that, and legislature pulled the plug on that a few years ago. So that's a great thing to write your local legislators about, representatives and senators, and tell them to fund those programs again. And other than that, we're just right now we're looking to work with what we've got, which is our local levy dollars, which are limited, but we are working on something that we can stand up, and that'll be a start. So not the end all be all. Amy and all the principals and teachers, it's outstanding that we've got 2 kids not graduating. That's great, and that speaks to everybody in our district, principals, teachers, all that. So that's outstanding. I had a great time at graduation. That's my favorite thing to do, is hand those kids their diplomas, and a lot of big eyes there that are really kind of unsure what's to come from now on. It's a lot of security and having a bell tell you when you have to go everywhere and eat lunch, and I still kind of miss that sometimes. So, anybody else have anything to add?
I guess, I'll address one thing. It was brought up tonight, outside of the security thing, which I also have concerns about myself and think that we should address. And find creative ways to address. The other thing is the politics in schools. I mean, we've seen it all over the news. We know that these board meetings have become contentious topics as far as, politics and a very polarized place when what our focus should be is on the kids and their education and making sure they're set up for their futures in this tumultuous society. So that's where our focus should be. But while I say we also shouldn't have politics, in this room, we should focus on the kids. I just texted our House Minority Leader to see if I could, and invited him out to our next meeting on July 27th. I'm waiting on a response, but I think that while we're talking about funding issues and security issues, and we want to pull out all the stops, I think that, since we have legislators here in our district who have maybe some pull that we don't have as a small school, integrating every resource we have may be a benefit to our district. And as somebody who may not have the best history with the same person, I'm reaching out to them to ask, will you please come to our next meeting? So I think that we should focus on the kids, but kids' safety and security, we all need to look in every corner we can, try to find a way to make it happen. So,
All right, anything else? Okay, then the board is going to adjourn into executive session now to discuss contract language. I'm going to say no more than 30 minutes, after which I don't believe any action will be taken tonight. So there won't be any action after that. And I'll get all that to you when we're done, Amanda.
Thank you very much.
So we will turn to executive session at 7:42.